Well, that door is much, much larger than I thought it was. Good use of perspective for a pointless trick. Now let's dive into more killing. What the hell? Some chubby little imp stole my axe. That leaves me in a terrible position, because I did try to dive into the killing. Now I gotta try and get my axe back. Taking all comers along the way. So those little monstrosities are scattered throughout this level. They're what's gonna keep us from absolutely dominating everything. Fortunately, they're pretty manageable once you learn their mechanics. But when you first meet them, you're probably just gonna die in this room. So hopefully you had the prescience to save in the previous one. Now we can, of course, celebrate with our axe. I was trying to get that decapitation. There we go. So even as prepared as I am for this level, those imps can get me killed. They're much, much faster than Rao. What you want to do, usually, is just dive headlong into the center of the room, try and lure them out, then try and kill them while they're attempting to attack you. They will not jump on Rao as long as he's facing them, so if you can identify their location before they get the jump on you, you will have the opportunity to kill them before they get your weapon. Now the thing is, once you are facing them, they become quite cowardly and will back off to the farthest corner of the room. If you have them targeted, Rao will move slower, so you have to break your lock on. And if you try to attack them, all of your attacks will prove slower than the imp themselves. They'll just back right out of it. They're very well-designed opponents, but also unbelievably obnoxious. Even their sound effects are virtually intolerable. Once one has its weapon, it'll leave you the hell alone. In fact, it'll sort of try and sneak its way into battle, get itself killed, and then force you to pick up your own weapon again, which causes Rao to switch to it automatically. The only advantage to that is that there is no animation. Rao just instantly has it in his hands and can use it right then and there. But unless it was the axe in the first place, it's a downgrade. Fortunately, that tactic, their suicidal attempt to force a worse weapon into your hand, very rarely works. That's basically what it's like trying to chase him down. Fortunately, that one was close enough to the wall that it didn't become very frustrating, but if you approach them at an angle to the wall, they will back all the way down into the corner. Now that we've got the Taiha, might as well play with it a little bit. It gets such a small portion of the game to be enjoyed. It proves surprisingly easy to interrupt here. That's somewhat odd, Because a previously unmentioned aspect of all the combos in this game is that, like the disarms, they become more difficult to successfully perform the more often they are done in a level. So throughout the game, you've seen enemies spontaneously interrupt my combos. That is because I've done them too many times in that level. The more times you've done it, the more chances the enemies have to do that to you. It's still worth doing the combos, though. Another aspect of the imps that makes them considerably more tolerable is that each one is assigned which weapon they're going to steal from you. So as long as you get the imp that was going for your axe before the actual threats appear, you are safe to ignore the imps. And we also saw a small mercy here. The enemies did not begin spawning in until the imps had been satiated, either killed or gotten their hands on a weapon. There are some rooms where there aren't even any imps assigned to collect your axe. And in those cases, you don't need to worry about the imps at all. Might be possible that if you refuse to collect your weapons for several consecutive rooms, then the ones who would normally take a lesser weapon will instead take your axe. Turns out Kuzo is still on his one perch that we've found so far. And I should have paid attention to the little symbol in front of the door there. A red spot, seemingly drawn in blood, indicates where the next room is, as opposed to the previous. There's another enemy type, designed to reduce the efficacy of the axe. The archers, that we've come to know so well. Damn it, die! The timing on that one was particularly lucky. Fortunately, forums user Detective Dorian pointed out that there is this camera shake option in the menu here. I've always known about it, but I assumed it had purely aesthetic purposes. However, once it is removed from the game, archery becomes much, much easier. See, now getting hit just moves your target enough to break your lock-on, instead of inducing full body convulsions and row. It's unfortunate that I didn't realize this until I had already completed the Vaitaku arenas, which require multiple headshots while being assaulted by ground troops. But at least I know about it now, because this level is hard enough without it. Quite a feat on the developer's part to take the level in which they introduce by far the strongest weapon in the game and make it also by far the most difficult level in the game. Not only are they going to start showering us with arrows the further we get into this level, and of course those pain-in-the-ass imps are going to become more plentiful, they've also specifically designed the zombies to be resistant to the axe. That's the gameplay reason that we are facing exclusively zombies throughout the rest of this game. I cut my teeth using the axe in the very first arena where it is inexplicably available much, much earlier than it damn well ought to be. When using the axe on human opponents, every single swing has the possibility of removing any of the 5 limbs or splitting the torso, no matter how strong or how high the health of the enemy is. Only armor is a sufficient resistance to the axe, and even then it usually gets removed in a single blow. This is not the case with the zombies. Zombies can only have one of their legs removed, their head, or their torso can be split. So this reduces the number of strikes that are capable of dismembering them. And also, they absolutely will not lose a body part unless it also depletes their health to 0. Which again is unlike humans, who can be dismembered from full health for an instant kill. I was very, very frustrated the first time I played this level, after I'd grown so used to seeing the axe just turn dozens of enemies into pulp in mere moments. While zombies often require a full combo to take out. There we did get to see that a final hit of the Rutu does decapitate even armored enemies. For all intents and purposes, Fua Toko Rutu is the best combo to use on a single target. Not that we have to worry about a lot of single targets. The archers have effectively rendered the center of this battlefield uninhabitable. I'm gonna correct that now. It's not gonna be easy, but there they go. And we did it when only one enemy remains. Obviously, it's pretty difficult to deal with archers while there's a lot of ground troops wandering about. And here come the respawns. Oh, just the one. That's how they managed to have so many enemies here. Probably multiple times as much as the next highest body count in any level. Of course there's imps. Managed to club one of them with my backswing. That seems to have been the one that was going for my axe, so that was lucky. They usually position imps right next to the door you're entering through, so there's no way to get visual confirmation of them as you're walking in. It's one of the rare times that camera control sort of betrays you. The lack thereof, of course. For the most part, the camera in this game is phenomenally well designed for not being able to control it at all. There's almost nothing off-screen that you would need to see to improve your gameplay experience. Our 40th head. That unlocks the obscenely difficult Rahtutusai arena. When I originally played this game, both challenges for the Rahtutusai arena and the body count challenge for the Vaitaku arena were completely impossible to me. Hopefully for the sake of the LP, I can complete this arena, finally. Like I did the Vaitaku arena. We've bloodied almost all of our weapons at this point. We still got a long way to go. A very small but slightly annoying thing about the switch rooms is that it's impossible to cancel the final bit of animation where Rao slings the axe over his shoulder after you've hit a switch. When he opens a door, if you immediately start moving, that will cancel that part of the animation. It's a very dumb thing to get annoyed by, but when you're opening a couple dozen doors in this level, it adds up. They like to place guards on all the switches and all the doors that stand right next to the wall. Unless you place yourself very carefully, you're guaranteed to get your combo interrupted. What I like about the axe is that most of the combos are unnecessary. You just need the first strike or two of them. For example, the Fua is a very effective spinning attack, all on its own. Usually that'll clear out the immediate areas. If necessary, you can move on to an Usu, which continues to spin. And then the Rutu will just wipe out absolutely everything within about 3 feet of Rao. That's the one thing that zombies have an advantage over humans, or rather an advantage to Rao when he's fighting them. They don't get scared by his combos for the most part. They can, it's kind of random, but usually doesn't happen. And you don't want them scared. Humans get scared way too easily by the axe. And of course, wouldn't you? They are extremely generous with the health pickups in this level. My previous suggestion of a no health pickups version of the game seems like it might have made this level impossible. So, all 3 imps have completely disarmed Rao. His pack is empty. There we go. See, I'm trained to not target them because Rao moves more slowly when he has a target. But if you don't target them, then he just sort of punches air next to them. So as difficult as this level is, once you're really good with the axe, it's a lot of fun and extremely satisfying. Just a fireworks display of severed limbs. It's just odd that in order to get good at the axe, you have to practice with it quite extensively. There's no tutorial for it. And the only way you would have to practice with it is in the arenas, where you can only fight humans who fall apart like they're nothing. Thereby making you very frustrated when you actually play this level. It's a design flaw that sort of carried into Splatterhouse, which I mentioned long ago has its roots way back in this game. Splatterhouse's final real level, that isn't just a single gauntlet of enemies, is obscenely difficult, and the only way you'd be prepared for it is if you completed the game before. Such is mostly the case here. For the most part, first-time players of this level will just use every single save scroll they find as soon as they find it. Luckily, I don't have to save scum my way through this level. I know the axe like the back of my hand. The old friend that it is.